Girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, NCAA college football week number 7. Whew, where is the season going? It's like each boom, 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 we're getting closer and closer to playoff time. We are entering the stretch run here where you got teams trying to make sure if you have 0 losses or 1 loss, you're staying there, that you're winning out. If you have 2, 3, 4 losses, you're trying to be the spoiler. So it's a good time to be in college football. Week 6, win-loss, 20-7. Against the spread and over-under, about 12-15. Got to work on that a little bit. Now, if you look at my year-to-date totals here for the NCAA, win-loss, I'm at 229-60, which is 79%. Against the spread, I was on 135 and 144, which is a 48%. Over-under, I'm 147 and 132, which is 52%. Overall, for college football, I am 60.3%. Hey, I'll take it. I'm happy with 60% or above. Now, if you look at the NFL, I'm at 66% on win-loss, 44% against the spread, 53% over-under. On CFL, which I started in week 8, I'm at 63% win-loss, 47% against the spread, 63% over-under. Overall, all 3 combined, I'm at 75% win-loss, 47% against the spread, 54% over-under. Not too awful bad. I'm happy with that. I think it's like a 55% overall, 56%, something like that. Not too bad. I'm happy with it. I'm above 500. Hey, what more can you ask for? We're going to jump into the 28 games we have for Week 7. Out of the American Conference, we have West versus East. We have 23rd ranked Memphis Tigers, who are 5-0 versus the 4-1 Temple Owls. The Tigers are favored by 23 on the road. Yeah, it's a big number. It's a big number on the road to be favored by. I got the Owls covering that 23. Tigers winning over on the 50.5. Next up, we have American East versus West as well. We have the 25th ranked Cincinnati Bearcats, who are 4-1 versus the 2-3 Houston Cougars. Bearcats favored by 7 on the road. Got them winning, covering, and under on the 55. Next up, we have the 1-4 Connecticut Huskies versus the 4-1 Tulane Green Wave. Once again, East versus West out of the American Conference. Tulane is favored by 34 at home. I got the Huskies covering that 34. I don't believe in the Green Wave that much, and I'm taking over on the 59.5. Next up, we have the American West versus East. West versus West this time. 3-1 Navy Midshipmen versus the 2-3 Tulsa Golden Wave. The Golden Wave is favored by 1 at home, pretty much a wash. It's pretty much a pick-em game. When your home team is favored by 1, I'm giving the 1 to the Navy. I'm going with the Navy. I'm going with the Midshipmen here. I got them winning, covering, and taking under on the 53.5. Next up, out of the ACC, Coastal versus Coastal. We have the 23rd ranked Virginia Cavaliers, 4-1 versus the 2-3 Miami Hurricanes. Again, another pick-em game, kind of Hurricanes by 1. The home team gets 1 point. I'm giving that to Virginia. I got the Cavaliers coming in, and they're going to cause a hurricane in Miami. I got the Cavaliers winning, covering, and over on the 45.5. Next up, we have the Florida State Seminoles 3-2 versus the 2nd ranked Clemson Tigers, who are 5-0. ACC Atlantic battle. Clemson. We dropped to number 2 because we won by 1 point. Yeah, these rankings don't always make sense. I've done this before here on Robert Sports Show. I'm going to actually do it again, probably before the year's over with. Is what the NCAA needs to do to fix college football when it comes to paying players, when it comes to TV rights, when it comes to this kind of thing. Of the rankings, I definitely going to get that video. I have Clemson winning, covering the 27, and under on the 61.5. Alright, next up we have the Louisville Cardinals, who are 3-2, versus the 19th ranked Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who are 5-0. ACC Atlantic battle. Wake Forest is favored by 6.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 66. Next up, we have the 16th ranked Michigan Wolverines, 4-1, versus the Illinois Fighting Illini, who are 2-3. Big Ten East versus West. Wolverines favored by 21.5. Got them winning, covering, and over on the 51. Another Big Ten East versus West. We have the Michigan State Spartans, 4-2, versus the 8th ranked Wisconsin Badgers, who are 5-0. Badgers get favored by 10, winning, covering, taking over on the 40.5. Another Big Ten West versus West. 4-2 Nebraska Cornhuskers versus the 5-0 Minnesota Golden Gophers. Gophers are favored by 7.5 at home. I got them winning, covering, under on the 52.5. Big Ten East versus West. The 10th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, 5-0, going against the 17th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes, who are 4-1. Penn State is favored by 4.5 on the road. Going on a limb, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving the 4.5 to the Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes at home, winning, covering, over on the 43.5. Next up, out of the Big 12, we have the 6th ranked Oklahoma Sooners, 5-0. Boomer Sooner versus the 11th ranked Texas Longhorns, who are 4-1. Oklahoma favored by 11 on the road. I got the Sooners winning. Longhorns covering at 11 and under on the 75. Next out of the Big 12, we have the Texas Tech Red Raiders, 3-2, versus the 22nd ranked Baylor Bears, who are 5-0. Bears are favored by 9.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 58. Next up, we have the UAB Blazers, 4-1, versus the University of Texas San Antonio Red Runners, who are 2-3. Conference USA West matchup here. Blazers win, cover the 11, and under on the 45. Out of we have Independent versus the Conference USA East. Massachusetts Minutemen 1-5 versus the Louisiana Bulldogs, who are 4-1. Bulldogs favored by 31.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 61. We have Pac-12 South versus Independent. We have the 3-2 USC Trojans versus the 9th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are 4-1. I think USC can put a fight up against the Fighting Irish, but I have the Irish winning. I have USC covering the 11 and under on the 55.5. Next up, we have the MAC versus East versus West. We have the Toledo Rockets 4-1 versus the Bowling Green Falcons, who are 1-4. Rockets favored by 25.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 64.5. Mountain West, we have West versus Mountain. We have the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors 4-1 versus the 5-0 14th ranked Boise State Broncos. Boise State wins, cover, and I have a Hawaii covering 11.5 and under on the 60. Next up, we have Mountain West, Mountain versus West. We have Wyoming Cowboys 4-1, San Diego State Aztecs 4-1. The Aztecs are favored at home by 4. I'm giving the 4 to the Cowboys. I got Wyoming winning, covering the 4, and over on the 40.5. Pac-12 South versus North. Colorado Buffaloes 3-2 versus the 13th ranked Oregon Ducks 4-1. The Ducks are favored by 20.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 57.5. Pac-12 North versus South. Washington State Cougars 3-2 versus the 18th ranked Arizona State Sun Devils 4-1. I got the Sun Devils winning, covering the 2.5 that they're favored by at home, and under on the 59. Next up, out of the Pac-12 South versus North, we have the 15th ranked Utah Youth 4-1 versus the Oregon State Beavers 2-3. The Utes favored by 13.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 59.5. Next up, out of the Pac-12 South versus North, Washington Huskies 4-2, Arizona Wildcats 4-1. Huskies are favored by 7 on the road. I'm giving the 7 to the Wildcats. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 59. Next up, we have the South Carolina Gamecocks, who are 2-3. Versus the 3rd ranked Georgia Bulldogs 5-0, a big SEC battle. The SEC here, an SEC team wins. Bulldogs are favored by 25 at home. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 52.5. Out of the SEC West, we have the number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide 5-0 versus the 24th ranked Texas A&M Aggies, who are 3-2. Alabama's favored by 17. Definitely got them winning, covering, taking over on the 59.5. Next up, out of the ACC as well, the West versus East of the SEC. Excuse me. I got Missouri favored by 11, going against the 4-1 at home, hosting the Ole Miss Rebels, who are 3-3. I got the Tigers winning, covering the 11 and under on the 54.5. Next up, probably the top matchup of the weekend. Out of the SEC East versus West, 7th ranked Florida Gators, who are 6-0, going into Death Valley versus the 5th ranked LSU Tigers. LSU is favored 13.5 at home. This game is at home in Death Valley on Saturday night. Can anyone tell me LSU's record at home on a Saturday night? I will. Since 2005, 45-4. 4 losses in 14 years on a night game in Death Valley. Tigers win. Gators cover the 13.5 and over on the 54.5. It's almost a foregone conclusion the Tigers are going to win in Death Valley on the Saturday night. Last but not least, we have the Appalachian out of the Sun Belt East versus West. We have the Appalachian State Mountaineers 4-0 versus the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana 4-1. Louisiana's favored by 1. I'm giving the 1 to Appalachian State, winning, covering, and under on the 68.5. All right, that is going to wrap up week number 7 of the NCAA college football season. Make sure you stay tuned to Robert Sports Show for the CFL and NFL picks this week. And hopefully, if everything works out, a weekly wrestling show here on Robert Sports Show. Robert's weekly wrestling roundup. We are starting a new age in professional wrestling, a new era has upon us here in October of 2018. We definitely want to make sure we do some stuff about that here on Robert Sports Show. As always, don't have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.